Today on Who is That Saint? We meet a woman who proves it's never too late, never too dirty, never too far gone. Her name is Saint Margaret of Cortona, and she's the patron saint of the broken, the fallen, and the ones who carry too much shame to even look up at a church door. Her story starts not in a convent but in scandal. Margaret was born in 1247 in Lavino, a small town in Tuscany. Her mother died young. Her father remarried, and Margaret's stepmother didn't exactly play the fairy tale role. Neglected and unhappy, Margaret grew up feeling unloved and hungry for affection. At 17, she ran away with a wealthy nobleman from Montepulciano. He never married her, but she stayed as his mistress for nearly 10 years. They had a son together. She lived in luxury, and by the standards of the world she had made it. But she knew deep down it wasn't the life God had called her to. And then the shock came. One day her lover left for a trip and didn't return. His dog came back alone and led Margaret to a forest path, where she found his murdered body decomposing in the woods. That moment shattered her. Not just because of grief, but because of conviction. The life she'd built wasn't just unstable, it was wrong. She packed up her things, grabbed her young son, and walked barefoot back to her father's house, hoping for refuge. He turned her away. So she went to Cortona and threw herself at the mercy of God and the local Franciscan friars. She became a third-order Franciscan and embraced a life that was the complete opposite of everything she had known. Poverty, fasting, prayer, and penance. Margaret didn't hide her past. She wore it like a wound and a weapon. She publicly confessed her sins. She begged forgiveness. And then she lived out her repentance so visibly, people couldn't ignore it. She gave everything to the poor. She lived in a tiny cell. She wept for her sins every day. And she didn't just wallow, she served. She became a nurse, caring for the sick and outcast. She founded a hospital. She formed a congregation of women devoted to charitable work. And soon people started coming to her. Not because she was perfect but because she was proof that mercy was real. She received visions of Christ and the Blessed Virgin. She suffered spiritual attacks, temptations, even harsh treatment from those who still saw her as a scandal. But she stayed the course. For 23 years she lived as a public penitent. And she didn't go soft. She called out corruption. She challenged priests and bishops to live what they preached. And they listened. When she died on May 22, 1297, she had become a local saint, a woman once despised, now revered. She was canonized in 1728 by Pope Benedict XIII. Today, Saint Margaret of Cortona is the patron of the homeless, the falsely accused, single mothers, and anyone caught in sin who wants out. And let's be clear, she's not the saint who whispers, "You're fine as you are." She's the one who says, "Get up. God still wants you." Her life is raw, real, and full of redemption. Saint Margaret of Cortona reminds us that your worst moment is not your final identity. You can fall far, but God can reach farther. She didn't become a saint by pretending she was better than others. She became a saint by letting God be better than her sin. If you've failed, once, 100 times, 10 years running, He's still calling. Just like He called Margaret. Just like He called you. Quote of the day: God calls back the sinner not to crush her, but to crown her with mercy. Saint Margaret of Cortona, attributed.